Thank you all for being here. This is an excellent turnout. I'm Katie Gunter, the Parent Involvement Coordinator at Cumming Elementary. And
I'm Allie Cregan, the Parent Involvement Coordinator at Atwell Middle School. And we have Dana Madrid from Omega Learning. She's going to present to you on study skills and learning styles for your child.
this is going to be a really cool presentation. Dana let us know that she wants you guys to kind of help lead the direction of the presentation. So if you have any questions or things you want to talk about, please let us know. And if you speak Spanish, you can ask the question in Spanish, and we have Hector in the back who will be able to translate for us. So feel free. All right, enjoy.
Hi, my name is Dana. I'm with the Omega Learning Center down in South Forsyth, actually just right off of 141. I'm really excited to see the turnout. I bring a unique perspective. I am a certified teacher in the state of Georgia. I have nearly 18 years of teaching experience from the state of Florida. I do hold dual certifications in ed leadership and in middle grade school teaching. I'm certified to teach all subjects. I am associated with the Learning Center, so I do see the tutoring side of things, and I'm also a parent. So I get the honor of working with my child every day. She comes home from school, and I face many of the same struggles you do, okay? I do want this presentation is for you. It's not about me. So please don't hesitate to raise your hand, interrupt, take me down a different path. I want to cover what you want to cover, okay? First of all, we do have an agenda. I'm going to kind of skip around. What I really want to focus on is learning styles. I'll also talk a little bit about homework help and study skills. And then I'm not going to get most likely into test-taking strategies. But then I do want to spend some time talking about questions and answers. And again, I want that to be throughout the presentation. I don't want you to try to wait until the end. So again, just raise your hand and feel free to interrupt me. Learning styles. There's three main types of learning styles. The visual student learns best through seeing, watching a demonstration, reading, looking at graphics, etc. Most students have a strong visual learning style. Okay? Most. This is also how some of your class is taught. You have auditory. Those students learn best through hearing, through lectures, having things to read, having things read to them, etc. And then you have kinesthetic. They learn best through touch, using hands-on manipulatives, moving while learning, etc. One of the things that I didn't realize is really how much the homework help has to deal with their individual learning style. If you're trying to put them in a learning style that they don't see fits their needs and they're not successful, they tend to shut down. So each child learns through all three styles to some extent, but they usually learn through one that's much more effective than the other. Okay? I suggest you give your child a learning style inventory to figure out your child's dominant learning style. Okay? There are a couple of websites here. I know I was able to pull this one up yesterday because I pulled them up to check. My internet was a little crazy yesterday, so I wasn't able to get that one up. There's lots of learning style inventories. There are probably some that are available through your school. Also on the internet. There are just a couple questions, and honestly, most of you probably already know, based on what we talked about in the previous slide, if they like to really touch, if they like to see, or they like to hear, what learning style your child might be. Okay. Once you figure out what learning style that they like and they're successful in, the homework and studying can be done more efficiently. Okay? And when it's done more efficiently, the child does better, takes less time, less stressed, happier, and ready to move on. You get less resistance from the child and more confidence to complete the work. That's where that cycle breaks. If you have a child and there's a lot of resistance and there's a lack of confidence, then they shut down and they're like, I can't do this. I don't understand it. I don't want to do it. Push it away. Leave me alone. I don't care. But the goal is to build the confidence back up. So if you've already lost the confidence, you need to build that up inch by inch. It's slow and tedious, but as they build that confidence, you'll have less resistance and you'll start to see that success. Do I need to go switch? That's all right. Okay, so when you're talking about maximizing learning, okay, if you have a visual learner, okay, they use highlighters, circle words, and underline while reading. You can watch videos on the subject matter when available. Use flashcards for studying. Draw information out and put it in a graphic organizer. Draw a map of the timeline or a map of the events. My daughter's a visual learner. How many of you are frustrated with math? Okay? Math is the subject of contention at my house. My daughter is a visual learner. I have a very inexpensive whiteboard with different color markers. And we work through the problems in different colors, the steps in different colors. She sees each step. When she brings something down, she does that in a different color. So each step is done in a different color. She only needs to do that a couple of times, and then she goes to regular paper. If she gets it wrong, she goes back to her whiteboard and does it different colors. I do recommend when you're talking about any kind of learning, okay, research shows that if you can get them to write up to 5 different colors, that the brain remembers it. So when they're doing math or things with steps, first of all, kids love color. And if they can see that, then they start to recognize this is step 1, this is step 2, and the brain starts to absorb it. So I really do recommend writing in different colors. Okay. Auditory, repeating facts or notes with eyes closed. These students like to have music playing in the background. So if you're trying to keep it really quiet in their auditory, they might like some form of quiet, more classical, slow pop, if it's not, just not real loud, I mean the normal pop. That's all right. They like to read the notes out loud to themselves or a parent, and participating in group discussions. A suggestion for that kind of student is talk to them. Have them play the teacher. Have them teach you the math. And you do the math based on how they teach you. Okay? They like to talk. They like to play teacher. They like to talk about what they learn. They can talk to stuffed animals. They can talk to their kids. They can teach a younger sibling what they've learned. Teach an older sibling. Talk over dinner. But they do like to hear things out loud. Closing your eyes and talking for those students and remembering really does help. These are often the students that are in the classroom. Kinesthetic. These are our movers. Okay? They like to walk around while reading or doing work. They like to play with something in their hands while doing work. Okay? They like to rewrite notes as a form of studying. Actually might not like it, but that's a good way for them to learn. And using memory games or flashcards to memorize information. I fall in this category. I like to walk around. I always have something in my hand. Kinesthetic learners. For Common Core, a lot of it is the hands-on manipulatives for math. They enjoy labs. They enjoy PE. They enjoy having their hands doing something. If we can go to the next slide. dominant learning style, but they do have all three. And you can train them to do better on the other ones that are weaker. So I suggest incorporating all sorts of learning styles. And with math, for example, doing a visual, and then an auditory or visual and kinesthetic, so they can double check their work. Okay? Homework habits and study skills can be improved dramatically just by knowing their learning style.
Let it sink in.
I'm letting it sink in. Am I going too fast?
No, you're good. We're just running around.
Okay. Do we have any questions so far? Yes.
Is it a kinesthetic learning that will turn into a pretzel when he's trying to do his homework?
Yes.
That-
Can be. Yep. As I said, all students have all three learning styles. My daughter is visual, but when she's visual, she is on the floor, on her stomach, with her whiteboard out in front of her, doing her math. And her legs are twisted up like a pretzel. She's a dancer, and she's like all, like, what are you doing? And so I found the more that I have less resistance and give her a little bit more freedom, I do have a designated area, and that's what we're going to talk about, where if she wants to sit, there's a place for her to sit, but if she wants to be on the floor, there's a designated place on the floor for her to go ahead and work. Yes?
I thought that music was distracting because when years ago I did, I had to be quiet in my room to read. But my son likes to have music on.
It depends.
It's like, how do you concentrate on reading while you have music on?
It really depends. Studies show that classical type music actually can contribute to higher learning. I personally find it distracting. My daughter likes to have music. And again, it is just like all of parenting, finding that balance. So yes, you can listen to a certain amount of music, but I also try to train my child. There's times that I want her to be in quiet, because in the real world, when they go for testing, there's no music. So you don't want to create. So I usually say, why don't you listen to music during writing your spelling words, and then we're going to turn it off for the math. And then after 15 minutes, you can take a break and you can listen to music and have a snack. Yes?
Most like in a child that help you determine which one it is.
Yes.
So it pretty much will nail it.
Yes, it'll click you through. And you can also Google learning style inventories, and there's several of them out there. Some of them are more lengthy than others. And you can always take 2 or 3 and pick those. But I like those too, especially the top. Any other questions? Okay. I did want to touch on homework help. Organization and communication is key as far as getting your child to want to do their homework. Backpacks and folders need to be organized, as well as the workspace. Okay? How many of you struggle with a disorganized backpack? Okay? How many of you here, it's not my fault? Okay? I'm going to agree with them. It's not their fault. These kids now are pushed to go bell to bell. And when they say, Mom, I have 15 seconds to pack my bag and be somewhere else, that's pretty close to the truth. Okay? So the teacher teaches, the bell rings, they shove everything in their backpack, and they go to the next class, and they do the same thing. Okay? Sound familiar? Trust me, I'm there. So we're going to talk about a solution that you may find helpful. Communication is needed. The second topic is communication is needed between the parent, child, and the classroom teacher. Talk to your student. They know. If they tell you there's no time, instead of, going about it in a negative way, well, you gotta get it done, and there's no time, then what can we do with that? If we can go to the next slide. Okay. A lot of problems can be solved by buying a 10-cent folder. And it's just one of those paper folders, and you open them up and they have 2 pockets. They don't even need the thing in the middle, but just 2 pockets. We call it a homeschool folder, okay? On my daughter's homeschool folder, on one side is the things that need to go back to school. On another side are the things that I need at home, memos, those kinds of things. Think elementary school kind of Friday folder when they come in. But this way, your child has a special folder when they say clean up. They put all their homework that they have to do and organize in that folder. And that's the only thing that they have to worry about during that school day. When they come home, here's the challenge, is training them to go through that folder first. Putting things in their proper place, because they really don't have time to open the notebook, sit there and put it in an orderly fashion here. So you have to train them when they come home that the first thing they have to do is put it in order. And this is what needs to be done, etc. Check this on a daily basis when they come home. Put any signed papers that have to go back, things that go back to school in that. And then at school, if the child puts everything that has to go back to school, they know what's due the next day. They're not researching and looking through their notebook. As a school teacher, I found out a lot of my kids go, well, I did my homework. I can't find it. I really, Dr. Madrid, I did it. And they would be crying. And they went, and you know what? 3 months later, wadded up at the bottom of the backpack, sure enough, there was an assignment. They did it. Okay? So again, it is what we can do at home to help them train to make things easy for them to find here in a very busy, rushed environment. Okay? The next slide. Designate a specific place where your child can put important papers where you're going to check it daily. I don't check mine until my daughter's in bed, when it's quiet. Mine happens to be near the kitchen because that's where I spend most of my time. While my daughter's doing her homework, I'm cooking dinner. So she has a designated workplace in the kitchen where she can work while I'm cooking. I do check that zone. This is the thing. Consistency is the key. My daughter has 2 places to work. She has one downstairs where I'm right there to help her, and a place that's upstairs in her room on her floor where she can lay out, sprawl out, do projects, that kind of thing, that she doesn't feel like she needs my attention. She just needs to have her own time and space. But she will tell me, I'm going upstairs, and I'm going to go work on this. And I said, okay, I'll check on you in a half an hour and see how things are coming. And if she's finished, she'll come down. She goes, okay, I'm done. I'm going to sit here and do math. So the more consistency, again, if you have younger ones, the earlier you start habits, the easier they just lead into natural movements of the child of what they do. Next slide. Okay. Are they required to have an agenda here? Okay. But parents are not required to sign it? Okay. So daily planners are a must. Guys, it is the student's responsibility to fill it out. I do talk to my daughter. They do forget to put things down that they know they have to do. So I review her agenda, and I say, is there anything else we're missing? Is there anything that was said last minute? Anything else we need to work on? And then we add those to her agenda. So a lot of it is, again, making sure that when you're approaching your child, that you're approaching in a positive manner. And saying, oh, yeah, you have this? Okay, well, when is it due? When is this due? And adding that in. So even if they don't quite fill it all out at school, is to fill it out at home. home and make sure all homework is assigned and completed. For younger ones, if teachers are willing to initial it, great. They're very busy, so really at this age, and even at the younger ones, the more that you can start to put on your student to be the one that's responsible. I do sign off on my daughter's planner. They don't check it, I sign off on it. I know the school never looks at it, but my daughter expects that double check. That way she's confident. She goes, well, why do you sign my planner? And I'm like, well, that way I know you're confident that you did everything you have to do. And we all know it's all in this folder, and you don't have to worry about it tomorrow. The goal is to create a habit and accountability. Next slide. I'm going to skip over this, the color-coded subjects. Depending on the school and what classes teachers have, the way they like things organized. Just a couple things to think about. What is your child's current homework space like? Is it in the same spot each night? Guys, if you're thinking a desk with paper and pencils, guys, it's not like when we grew up. My daughter's on these big fluffy pillows with an iPad with her legs kicked up. It's much different. So, but just make sure that they're not distracted and that the focus is on school. My daughter's spot in her room, there is no TV. We have an iPad that is for her. It only has school-approved websites. Everything else she doesn't have access to. So she tells me she's going on her iPad. All she can get is stuff for school. And that's also where all her art and crafty supplies are kind of in that corner with all the pillows. So any kind of projects are done there. Make sure you have necessary supplies. Communicate, communicate, communicate. When you talk about the different styles of learning, communicate with your teacher. Ask them what they see might help your child. They see them every day. They're a great resource. Again, they're busy. Communicate by email. There are a lot of resources that are available, honestly, through your school library, your guidance counselors, the teachers, even online, as far as getting your child the information that they need. Do we have any questions? I went really fast. I talked fast. I'm sorry. We talk a little bit about time management, and I'm just going to go through this real quickly. Time management, okay, is needed on a day-to-day basis with homework and week-to-week for larger projects and assignments. That goes back to the planner. When my daughter comes home from school, okay, your child is going to fall into one of two categories. They're going to need to do their homework right away, or you're going to lose them for the rest of the day, or they need a short amount of time to decompress and then go back. Okay, that decompression time, guys, if you can help it, shouldn't be much more than about a half an hour after they come in from school. So as you're scheduling extracurricular activities, if they get out at 4 o'clock, I would try not to schedule anything at 4:30 because having them do homework when they come back is going to be really, really, really tough. Okay, so it does bite into scheduling. I'll be the first to admit, as far as dinners, it makes dinners very unique at my house. We have dinner at like 5 o'clock, and then we have again at 7. We have it twice. We nibble, and then we come back from the school activities and nibble again on 2 days. But do watch that. Most students come in from the bus or from the car ride and need about 15 minutes to use the restroom, have a snack, tell you about their day. I don't allow any electronics. They can read a book, they can doodle, but try not to get in that mode of, my day's done, I'm gonna kick up my feet, I'm gonna turn on the TV, relax, because then you won't get them back. But have that snack. I don't use a large calendar. I have her pull out her agenda, and that's why she's having her snack. We just go through it and talk about what our goals are for the day, what our goals are for the week. Because, like many of you, with other commitments, she comes home with something on Monday, and it's not due till Friday. That is not, it's important, but it's not urgent. So I said, okay, well this on our priority list is not going to be high. What's due tomorrow? What test is tomorrow? And learning to prioritize that planner, because that's the other thing. They don't know how to prioritize. They do what they want to do and what they feel comfortable doing, and then when they're done, they're done. So if you prioritize and what can be shifted to the next day, my daughter has to do like 3 spelling things during the week. I know they won't get done Tuesday or Wednesday because she dances. So she knows she has to do 1 on Monday at least, you know, and then 2 on Thursday because she has very little dance. So it's having them get into that routine early. We can do the slide. Okay. Get the homework done at the same time every day. So again, that comes back to scheduling after school activities, dinner time. At the beginning of each year, start setting at least 45 minutes to an hour of uninterrupted time. That's not to say they won't occasionally need more, but if you set that time every day, okay? Turn everything off, cell phones, TVs, iPads, etc. Okay? Again, if your child's auditory, they might like light music in the background. And again, having the necessary supplies. The next slide. When you're looking at the agenda, talk to your student about how long they think it's going to take. So again, when you're talking about the agenda, is ask them how long do they think it's going to take to do the spelling words. And then they can start planning their time even further down the week, knowing what they're going to push along. Do the least favorite, hardest assignment first. Again, I organize mine by priority. When is it due? Is it a summative? Do we need to put extra time and effort? That's not always the hardest, but I do organize ours by priority. Review notes on days with little assigned homework. Yes?
I have a question. I got a 6th grader. She's always saying that she has some other work, but she can bring other folders home. So they will put back and heavy, things like that. Or she has to put it in the locker. At the end of the day, she cannot go back to the locker because she has another car class or things like that. And when she tries to do homework about the subject, she don't bring the things she needed. So how she can bring the stuff with her? Like, she forget everything in her locker, or she put it in the locker and she can go back for it.
Well, that's the one thing that about the one folder. If you get one folder, she can at least bring the notes from to that day's class plus the homework, and you have at least that to review. The backpacks do get really, really, really heavy, and especially in middle school, lockers are all over. I wish there was a shortcut around it. There's not. I don't know. Are textbooks available online? Any of them here? If you have access to the internet and she can get online either at home or at a local library, that's an option. But just usually having the notes from that day or section in a notepad will help reduce some of that load. Any other questions? Yes?
How do you get from, I have homework, I have to fill in the blanks, I have to do a crossword, to, I actually need to know what I'm doing on this piece of paper. I actually need to know what information is on this piece of paper that I've got to know.
Okay. As far as crosswords, depending on the teacher, it depends when they're assigned. Many of us are confused by the new way of teaching. A lot of the teachers are giving crossword puzzles as a pre-introduction to the material. They're not expected to know it. It's to give them some idea of what they're going to see. If the crossword is at the end of the lesson, okay, then that's usually reiterating the terms that they've learned. The best thing to do is to find the learning style that meets the needs of your child and redevise that crossword puzzle. Either have them make flashcards, they can talk to you and you can give them a word and they can give you the definition, or you can give them the definition and they can give you a word. If they're kinesthetic, how many of you guys watch Ellen? Does anybody watch Ellen? Okay, we all know that the card game on top of her head, that's now a phone app. Yeah, okay. I have my daughter write the words and I go like this. And she tries to get me, who has no idea what the word is, to say the word. And it's a lot of fun. She's learned, and I have it, I flip them, she does flashcards and she writes the word really big and the definition on the other side. And we can do it either way. But again, if your child can teach you what they're learning in school, they know the material, period. I still don't know all of Common Core math, but my daughter can teach me how to do it. Okay, so it's baby steps at a time. Have break times where they get to get up and be a kid and run around. Again, just to close, I'm going to skip over several slides here. This is study skills. 3 steps for good note taking before, during, and after class is complete reading or homework assignments from the previous night, have materials ready. Okay. During class, when they hear, don't forget, you need to know, a highlight, an arrow, a star, okay, and then make notes of questions. And for after class, you can rewrite the notes. You can discuss confusing information with a peer, teacher, or parent, and use notes when completing homework. They are instructed in school, so you're really serving as their parent to make sure that they're using the knowledge that they learn to do their homework. So the less you do for them, the better. I know it's really, really, really hard. It's hard for me. But the more you let them take responsibility, you let them guide them, the more successful they'll be. Do we have any questions? If you find that your child is struggling, okay, and you're noticing that behavior where they are losing confidence, that is when you need to get with your teacher and with your school resources ASAP and develop a plan to work on building that confidence for the family. I'm very impressed with the turnout. It's been wonderful to speak with you guys. Is there any last minute questions? Well, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
I have some surveys I'm passing out. English is one side, Spanish is on the other.